Hi, my name is Tascha Yoder and welcome to Wordplay. I talk about words because they're really important to us. Words are the bridge between thought and action. Thought is the impulse, the concept, the energy, just the very starting formation of something. And then by the time we get to action, we're actually in manifestation. We're moving forward, we're doing something, we're having a conversation with someone, we're actually putting something into use. And in between those, we take the thought and we form it conceptually into a word. And that word has a lot of importance in how we actually take our action. Today, the word that we're going to talk about is emotion. Those of you who know me know that I live in Colorado Springs. And today is July 3rd, 2012. And almost exactly a week ago, here in Colorado Springs, we had a really devastating event. So we've had a fire called the Waldo Canyon Fire, which you probably saw on the national news if you're following me from someplace else. And last Tuesday, a week ago, with a strong wind that came up and some other factors that got involved, we had the most horrific event, which is that the fire came into our city and burned 346 homes. So first of all, before I go on, I want to say I was not impacted, but my heart goes out to everybody who was directly impacted, and also, of course, to the firefighters and all the other personnel that have been that stood in the line of that fire and saved so many homes. What a courageous event. But it got me to thinking about emotion, especially because emotions have been running high, and even if you weren't impacted, a lot of us were very, very emotional seeing that happen in our city, seeing the devastation and what seemed like apocalyptic pictures. And oftentimes we have emotions just from seeing events happen to other people, not just from ourselves. It's that empathy within us that helps us to be human and defines us as such, that allows us to feel emotion when something happens to someone else. So the word emotion comes originally from a Latin word, which I will not try to pronounce, which you'll thank me for. And that word, the original word, meant to move out or to remove something. And when I think of emotion, I think of it like water. So if you think of water, the water that flows through your body, it being a metaphor for emotion, which really fits with that concept of moving out or removing something. So when we have emotion, it's not a bad thing. It's just an indicator that something's happened that has triggered us and is making us feel very strongly about something. And so when we let that emotion just happen, sort of sit with it, be with it, release it in some way. If it's a really strong emotion like joy or anger, you may want to go out and scream, for both of those actually. And emotion is just that indicator that we're feeling really strongly. We have to let it process within us and look to it for information. So what is it trying to tell us? What is it trying to tell us about what's happening in our lives? What's it trying to tell us about what we're seeing? What is it bringing up for us? We have two kinds of emotions. So this is what the experts will tell you, that one kind comes from the amygdala, the reptile brain, the oldest part of our brain that all beings have. That's the fight or flight emotion. So this is some people would say almost uncontrollable. Something really intense is happening. For example, the fire that happened here, and if you're in that situation where you're feeling threatened, the emotion that you have, the feelings that are coming up are really instinctual, and it's good to just go with whatever they're telling you, because typically they're telling you the right thing to protect you, to save your life, etc. The other type of emotion that we have is cognitive. It's a learned behavior, learned emotion. So think of a child who falls down and skins their knee, and we all know that there's a whole range of things that happen in that case, but the two sort of bookends of that range are one, that the people around that child can be really casual about it, like, hey, you fell down, no big deal. And the other is that the people around them can be really overly protective, concerned, oh, we have to fix that, oh, you must be really hurt, etc. We all sort of know that span that happens. So in one case, the child is learning, hey, it's no big deal. They'll probably shift their emotions really quickly and move on to play again or whatever it was that they were doing. In the other case, they learn that this is a huge deal in your life when you fall down and get hurt. And there's all sorts of things that happen with that. You can get attention. You should be really concerned, when you hurt yourself, all those things. So that's an example of learned emotion. And one of the things we can do as adults is look at emotion and where it comes from. And if it's an emotion that you don't want to be having when something happens, then look at how you learn that behavior and maybe how you can unlearn it. The other thing I want to talk about with emotion is when I look at the word, today, E, like email, e-zine, all those kind of things mean virtual. And so when I look at the word emotion, I kind of also see virtual motion. Again, when we have emotion, we're not really actually doing anything. I mean, you might have facial expressions, or you might act based on your emotion, but the emotion itself is all internal. It's all about the energy. It's all about the feeling, the flow that's going on within you. So pay attention to that virtual motion and see what you can learn from it. See what information is there. Don't make it a bad thing. Don't try to suppress it. Don't try to make it go away. It's all there for a good reason. But learn to look at your emotions and see where they're coming from. That's it for today. I thank you for joining me for another episode of Wordplay, and I'll see you next time.